31st March 2023 1840 updated at 0715 IST. When we look at filmography director Vetri Maaran, we see a common metaphor in all films he directed. These are stories of ordinary people, oppressed, trying to make a living for themselves, unwittingly drawn into world chaos, and needing to escape unscathed. While this may seem like an oversimplification, it does not ignore the fact that they all work both critically and commercially. This streak seems to have continued with Viduthalai Part 1. It's also clear how socio-political interpretation has become stronger with his recent outing, which is also most political narrative ever. The cops in Vetri Maaran's films are often filled with obedient people who have been conditioned for years to follow orders or use of treacherous force who can abuse them for evil purposes. While watching or discussing Viduthalai is futile movie, Visaranai introduces us to a conscientious man in the form Samuthirakani's Muthuvel. Here we see full spectrum of police, so much so that it would be appropriate to call this film 50 Shades Hakin. Viduthalai Part 1 director Vetri Maaran cast Soori, Vijay Sethupathi, Bhavani Sre, Gautham Vasudev Menon, Rajiv Menon, Chetan. 150-minute story. A new police officer goes through a series of unfortunate events that leads him to go on a hunt. Directs. Leader of the separatist group Muthuvel is replaced by new carpenter, Kumaresan, in a police camp set up in forested village near the Tamil Nadu-Karnataka border. As our POV character, Kumaresan learns customs of the police officers and Makkal Padai movement led by Perumal aka Vaathiyaar. Under pretext providing employment to thousands of oppressed people, a mining company is planning to destroy ecosystem surrounding hamlet with state aid for development state. On one hand, revolutionaries who claim to be able to speak any language, including violence. On other hand, there is system-driven police force that qualifies separatist group as a terrorist organization. The villagers who rely on richness of forest for their livelihoods and thus support Perumal, who want to free themselves and land from clutches of corporate corporations, are caught in crossfire. Despite talking about government affairs, politics behind them, and the social issues associated with them, Viduthalai doesn't really get into subject of right and wrong. Instead, he focuses on conflict between troops group, as well as trials tribulations of Kumaresan, who is forced to trade his innocence morality hard for recognition in his work love he finds in Tamil Nadu. Kumaresan's escapes were met with slap after reality slap, while the former resulted in torture in detention and retaliation from revolutionaries. Like a video game character thrown into a new world, he must explore unexplored and gain knowledge by understanding the history of local and his meeting with those in power. In essence, Viduthalai Chapter 1 is Kumaresan's acknowledgement of harsh realities of world, with powers given to those responsible, how these can be abused against their will and receiving party may retaliate against it. When falls on wrong side of system, he chooses to endure punishment even though knows that a single apology will get him back on track, because right and verdict are not always same. This leads to another confrontation with a senior who senses Kumaresan's anger and asks if he will hit him, to which the once docile police officer responds in the affirmative. The film showcases a brilliant roster of talent both behind and in front of the camera. In the role of her life, Soori is full of energy and innocence as Kumaresan. As good shooter who is forced to do basics, Kumaresan finally reaches for rifle with his trembling hand, epitome of a man out for ride and finally ready to take over helms. The actor is successful in the breezy love scenes as well as the intense scenarios his character goes through. Chetan as Ragavendar and Gautham Menon as Sunil Menon play outstanding police officers and do an excellent job in one of the best roles of their careers. In a long cameo, Vijay Sethupathi stands out as the man with a mission. Vetri's frequent collaborator of photography, Velraj, exceptionally depicts dangerous terrains that are visibly difficult to traverse, let alone filming. However, two of Ilayaraja's songs, while melodic, provide little respite as they take away from the intensity the movie creates. Although it started as a single project and is now split into two parts, Viduthalai Part 1 feels rushed by its narration. There is so much in it that we seldom linger and feel the persecution of the villagers. Their scenes were nails plucked, a woman and her father-in-law tortured naked, and many women forced to undress. But aside from the brash show of strength, these scenes don't really have the same impact Visaranai gave us in a very limited runtime. Viduthalai Part 1 ends at a pivotal point, and ending makes it clear that there will be exponentially more events in the sequel. Vetri left us on edge of our seats. Viduthalai Part 1 is currently in theatres.